Hello, and welcome to World of Warbirds. I'm Brian Pierce. Hello, Warbirders. So we've come a long way in this series from the great success of the Nell and the Betty, and then a kind of slow decline. With Allied capabilities picking up, and with Nell and Betty earning nicknames like the Flying Lighter and the Flying Zippo, help was needed. And the request would be daunting. The Navy specification 15 was requesting a lot. They wanted a very fast bomber with speeds matching the Zero, but also the same range as the Betty, a 907 kilogram or 2,000 pound bomb load, and the same ability to carry torpedoes. But also add in the ability to dive bomb. Miki Tadanao was a Naval Technical Officer at the Yokosuka Naval Air Technical Arsenal. He was a lead designer of the new high-speed medium bomber, prioritizing aerodynamic efficiency to achieve speeds comparable to contemporary fighters. His big thing was aeronautical streamlining, and he would apply that to his design of the new plane. So the result was a very aerodynamically clean design with a small fuselage midsection and countersunk rivets. Power was to come from two Nakajima Homares, which were air-cooled, twin-row, 18-cylinder radials that produced almost 2,000 horsepower each. With those, and the streamlining, speed promised to be impressive. There was even a nod to protection, with some of the fuel tanks being self-sealing and the crew getting armored headrests and armored backs, with a thickness of 20 millimeters. If extra fuel was needed, more could be brought along in two 220-liter outboard tanks. Like the Nell and Betty, the defensive armament was on the weak side, but even more so. In the main variant, there was one 20mm Type 99 cannon or one 13mm Type 2 machine gun in the bow, and upper defensive mountings, although there were some other configurations. Up to 1,000 kilograms, that's 2,205 pounds, of bombs or a torpedo could be carried. When the aircraft was used as a torpedo bomber, the bomb bay doors were removed as the torpedo was partially recessed into the bomb bay. The new plane was given the designation Yokosuka P1Y Ginga, which means Galaxy or Milky Way. The Allies called it Francis. Francis's maiden flight was in August 1943, and they were eventually operated by 5 Kokutai air groups and serving as land-based medium and torpedo bombers from airfields in China, Taiwan, the Marianas Islands, the Philippines, the Ryukyu Islands, Shikoku, and Kyushu. Nakajima built just over 1,000 units. One major problem with Francis was the engines. They were meant to generate around 1,800 horsepower, but the extremely compact and tight design of the engine made it difficult to manufacture with proper quality, and it was difficult to maintain in the field. This led to it not achieving the expected power output, often in the range of 1,300 horsepower instead of 1,800, which was pretty disappointing. But that wasn't it. Just as the Luftwaffe discovered, the requirement to perform dive bombing contributed to the aircraft's complex and high-maintenance design, leading to much more frequent mechanical issues. The hydraulics also had a habit of malfunctioning, and engine repairs took the aircraft off the line more than was desired. Hence the reason why Francis never really took over completely from Betty. This video was written, narrated, and produced by a real human, me. If you like human narrators, support the channel by becoming a member or sending me a super thanks. Or at least, please just like and subscribe and hit the bell. It's really appreciated. So when Francis was considered for use as a night fighter, Kawanishi was given the job and they yanked out the troublesome Homare 12 engines and installed the much more reliable 14-cylinder, air-cooled Mitsubishi Kasai 25. The night fighter retained the bomb bay as a dual use was planned as a night bomber and night fighter. The armament consisted of one movable 20mm cannon at the rear of the cockpit and two fixed ones mounted at an angle in the Schraga Musik style. But it was found that the high-altitude performance of Francis wasn't great, and also the Schraga Musik style cannon were less effective against the B-29 Superfortresses, which were well protected by belly guns wired into a centralized, computerized firing system. So the obliquely firing guns were removed and the aircraft returned to interception duty. Although Francis fought as a conventional, regular, and torpedo bomber, I can't find any examples of it being used in the dive bombing role. So it seems like all the extra complexity engineered into it for that purpose was a waste. In the last year of Francis's operational life, we could see a kind of frantic experimentation happening to try to find something that could save the day for the waning Empire of Japan. Some had a Type 3 Ku Mark 6 H6 marine search radar installed. Some of the planned experiments were just paper projects that never saw the light of day. One was to mount a series of 16, 18, or even 20 obliquely mounted, downward firing cannon to create a carpet of ground fire underneath. Another was to swap in turbojet engines, and this project even got a name: Tenga. Remember Miki Tadanoa, the lead designer of Francis? He went on to develop the nightmare weapons, the piloted suicide missile, the MXY-7 Ohka, which will get its own mini-episode at some point, because I guess it's a warbird too, because it has a pilot. His two creations were to be linked in the P1Y3 Model 33 version, which was to be an Ohka carrier with an increased wingspan and a fuselage length, and with a special bomb bay to carry an Ohka Model 21 or 22. But this project didn't get far. The two prototype Ohka carriers were destroyed during Allied bombing. Speaking of suicide tactics, more and more during the bloody battles for the Philippines and Formosa, Francis was being used for the tactics of Tokutai, or special kamikaze attacks. However, by this time, even the kamikaze attacks were not even all that effective, as the Allies learned how to deal with them. And, as the Francis groups were suicidal, they obviously diminished quickly, and their results were insignificant. The last battle where Francis was actively used was in the Battle of Okinawa. I do find it interesting that when it came time to choose an aircraft to bring their representatives to the surrender meetings, the Japanese did not choose the updated Francis, but went with the older, reliable Betty. A P1Y survives at the Smithsonian's Paul Garber facility of its National Air and Space Museum. This was one of the 3 P1Ys that were brought back to the United States after World War II for evaluation. They were tested and then chopped up. While only the fuselage has been photographed several times and can be found on the internet, the wings and engines are confirmed to exist. What about Miki Tadano? He survived the war and made a transition to railway engineering. After having worked so long on machines that killed people, and in the case of the Ohka, killed even its own pilots, Tadano wanted to use his skills for peaceful purposes. He applied his knowledge of aeronautical streamlining and wind tunnel testing to the body of the first Shinkansen, which resulted in the distinctive bulbous nose of the first series Shinkansen high-speed bullet trains, modeled after aircraft fuselages to minimize air resistance. He died in 2005 at the ripe old age of 95 years. If you enjoyed this video, please do your part and become a member of the channel, or drop me a super thanks, or at least just like and subscribe and hit the bell. It's really appreciated. Until next time.